Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Kane, and I'm the Marketing Manager for Wonderware NorCal. Thank you for attending our webinar today, Water and Wastewater, Modernize Your SCADA System. After the webinar this morning, we will be doing a short Q&A. Please type any questions or comments into the Q&A box, the chat box, or email us at webinar@norcal.wonderware.com. Now I'd like to introduce your presenters for today's webinar. Your first presenter will be Wonderware NorCal's Product Specialist, Mike Lapitan. And your second presenter will be Scott Penner, an Associate Engineer at Frisch Engineering. So now let me go ahead and turn it over to Mike. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our webinar, Modernize Your SCADA System for Water and Wastewater. Our agenda today is to look at ways to increase operator awareness and ease of use with Wonderware InTouch and ArchestrA graphics and how to securely access your SCADA system remotely. We'll talk about how to automate plant reporting to save you time, and also how to quickly identify problems using Wonderware Historian Trends. We'll have Scott Penner with Frisch Engineering give you some real-world SCADA upgrade examples and best practices. And then we'll talk about alarm management, what that means, as well as integrating SCADA with maintenance work orders and GIS systems. So a little bit of background on Wonderware. Wonderware has been around since 1987. We're used in 1/3 of the world's plants and facilities with 20 or more people. In the water and wastewater industry here in Northern California, this is definitely one of the top industries for us. So we have a lot of experience with water and wastewater, a huge existing installed base that goes back probably 25 years. So Wonderware is known for being the lowest risk SCADA solution, being very proven, providing 25 years of seamless migration. We have local support, that's tech support, and system integrators, and we are scalable, allowing you to start small and grow over time as your business expands. So we are the #1 HMI on the market, and Wonderware NorCal has been your local Wonderware resource since 1992. We have local training in San Francisco. Wonderware corporate training is down in Southern California in Lake Forest near John Wayne Airport, and that is also where Wonderware development is headquartered. We offer free workshops out of our San Francisco office, which are half-day events on getting started with Wonderware, and we also can do those on-site at your location. Obviously, we do webinars, and we record these webinars so that you can watch them at your own time and also share them with other people. Our tech support is based out of our Wonderware NorCal corporate office in Healdsburg, and we offer system consulting, licensing sales, and we have a large system integrator partner channel here in Northern California. So very well established. And we've got a great reputation in the marketplace for our tech support, very responsive, answer your questions as you have them to keep your projects moving and make sure that you get your questions answered right away. It's very important to our customer base. And again, we get a lot of great feedback about our tech support engineers. That's a picture of Daniel Nicholas. Many of you have worked with him in the past. So Wonderware, going back to 1987, we can upgrade your existing Wonderware InTouch application to the current version. We're now on version 11.1, and not require rebuilding your original application. We're the only SCADA vendor in the marketplace that can offer that long-term preservation of investment. So customers certainly appreciate that, as there's a lot of time and money and effort that's put into developing these SCADA systems, and virtually every SCADA vendor in the marketplace at one point has made their customers rebuild their application to some extent because they've come out with a new version, or Microsoft came out with a new operating system. So Wonderware is the only SCADA vendor that has been able to fully migrate your existing InTouch application to the current version without requiring a rebuild. And customers who have Wonderware support, they maintain an annual support contract. They can do that for free. There's no additional cost to upgrade your Wonderware licensing to the latest and greatest version, so you're always current with Microsoft and security and getting the latest and greatest features, which we're going to talk about today. If for some reason you're not on support and you need to upgrade or get back on support, we offer a 65% discount for existing customers to upgrade their existing licenses. So we make it very easy for existing customers to maintain their existing applications, preserve their existing investment, and move forward over time. So our mission for water and wastewater is to safeguard public health, ensure customer satisfaction, and help the financial sustainability of our customers, and to protect the environment. We are a corporate member of various water associations, and we have 28,000 licenses of Wonderware software and water and wastewater applications. And this number is actually about 3 or 4 years old, so that's grown significantly since then. So let's take a quick look at what is the visualization component of Wonderware. It's called Wonderware InTouch, and the latest graphics capabilities that we have are known as ArchestrA graphics. They're vector-based graphics, which means they scale really well as you go from different screen size resolutions. So a lot of legacy applications, InTouch applications, were built in 800 by 600 resolution or 1024 by 768. And nowadays, if you go get a new monitor, likely it's going to be a widescreen monitor, maybe 22-inch monitor. Maybe you want to display your SCADA application on a large flat screen TV in the control room, or you want to access your SCADA application on your phone, your smartphone, or your iPad. So ArchestrA graphics really scale a lot better than older style graphics. So that's definitely something to use when monitoring your SCADA system is ArchestrA graphics. They also look a lot nicer, a lot more modern. So it's a nice opportunity to refresh your screens, bring them into the 21st century. And there's a lot more capabilities as part of ArchestrA graphics we're going to talk about. The ArchestrA graphics are now, the library is built right into the window maker development environment. So it makes it very easy, very intuitive for anybody who's done InTouch development to access these ArchestrA graphics and use them in your existing InTouch applications. There's no additional cost or licensing. The ArchestrA graphics are part of the Wonderware window maker development environment. We have the Water and Wastewater Industry Pack, which is a graphical library of specific equipment and instrumentation for the water and wastewater industry. And these are free of charge, a free download from the Wonderware support site. And that allows you to really provide operator context to represent equipment that looks very similar to what you have in the field. So again, it makes it very intuitive and easy for the operator to relate to what's on the screen to what's actually happening in the field. Also reduces the development time and the cost to building up an HMI application because we've already built the graphics for you. Situational awareness symbols are new ArchestrA graphics that have come out and are also free and available to you as an InTouch customer. And what situational awareness symbols are to reduce the amount of time it takes for an operator to interpret what's going on to prevent critical process upsets. So in the past, in a traditional HMI, you might have different screens for your alarms, for your trends, for your operational limits in your HMI. So situational awareness graphics are all about putting more information into context to make it very intuitive and easy for the operator to understand what's going on and what's going to happen if you continue in moving in a certain direction. So let's take a quick look at a basic situational awareness graphic here. You can see, in this case, maybe I've got a flow meter, in this case it's a temperature sensor. And so although it's a very simple looking graphic, it's got a lot of context. We can see what our current value is. We can see the name of our temperature sensor here in this case. We can see the upper and lower control limits. And we can also see historical data as far in the trend pen, or that trend tail that's coming off of the temperature sensor. So we can see where we've been, where we're at now, and which direction we're heading. So we can see we're trending in a up temperature direction right now. So it puts a lot of context right inside of a very simple graphic. So the new trend pen is a new graphics as part of the situational awareness graphics, and it allows you to really encourage the use of historical trends inside of your application, but making them very lightweight, very simple, so they have very good performance, and you can display lots of them on your screen. The new animation alarm border is also included, and that allows you to build very intuitive dashboards for your operators so they can quickly identify where they need to focus their attention on. So this is an example of what we would call a level 1 or high-level overview display in a SCADA application. Not necessarily the operational screen where the operator is going to control the plant. You could drill down into that. But at the level 1 overview display, you want to provide limited use of color and animation, and only use color selectively when you need to alert the operator that they need to focus their attention. So this alarm border is a capability and animation that's built into the graphics library now, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and show you that in an actual demo. accessing your SCADA system from wherever you are on the go in water and wastewater. We're very distributed application. We've got folks on the move. We're going out to pump stations and lift stations. We're on the road. We're in the field. We're not just sitting in front of the control room all the time. So we need to be able to access our SCADA system from wherever we are. It's a very common need nowadays. And so now that we're carrying our smart devices, our tablets, and our phones, we can use those existing devices we already have to access our SCADA system. And one way to do that is with what's called In-Touch Access Anywhere. So it's used to extend your SCADA HMI to any browser, any device. So you can use whatever native browser, web browser on your device to access your SCADA system. So that means if you've got an Apple device, you can use Safari as your web browser. If you've got a Windows device, you could use Internet Explorer or Firefox or Chrome if you've got an Android device. And so let's take a quick demo and see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and go to a web page. I'm going to go to In-Touch Access Anywhere. That's my web page where my SCADA system is. And I'm going to go ahead and click Connect. So I'm going to connect to my SCADA system now. And so now you can see I'm actually launching In-Touch from within Internet Explorer in this case. And so you can see that this web page, this server is actually remote somewhere. I personally don't even know where this server is being hosted. It doesn't matter. I don't need to know. I just need to know the web page to go to. Now I can access my SCADA system. So you can see the performance is very good. In this case, I'm looking at 4 different filters, filters 100, 200, 300, and 400. I'm looking at the effluent turbidity for each filter. I can see I've got some situational awareness graphics on the upper left-hand side here that are sorting the highest turbidity to lowest turbidity. So that's pretty cool, these sorting capabilities. I've got some other situational awareness graphics here that show me kind of my desired set point in green here. I can see where I'm real-time at in comparison to my set point, and then I can see if I were to go into a low limit that I would get an alarm border to pop up. So an example of that would be in this operational sample, again, making it very intuitive. I can see I've got a level 2 priority alarm here that's blinking, so I can go drill down to that. I could drill down into a specific filter here. I'll look at filter 100. So I've got more situational awareness graphics here, so I can see my tank levels, and I can see my tank levels over time. So that's more context. Again, I've got another turbidity situational awareness symbol here, so I can see I'm dipping below into my actual value. I can see I'm in a lower turbidity state. And if I double-click on this filter, now I can drill down into my operational screen. So this would be my traditional operator HMI that I use to control my plant. If I want to actually take something out of auto mode and put it into manual, I can control my plant from this, and I can put a plant in manual state and open and close a valve or turn a motor on or off or change a set point. And then finally, I'll look at my alarms here. And so I can look at alarms by area, so I can go look at alarms just by tank, and right now I'm doing pretty good. I don't have any alarms in my tank. If I go all the way up to my water plant, I actually don't have any alarms, so I'm doing really good here. If I needed to, I could actually filter by just critical alarms, high alarms, medium alarms, and low alarms. And then I can see my alarm history here, so I had some alarms here in the past, but I don't have any current live alarms, so that means I'm doing really well. Nope, there I've got an unacknowledged acknowledged alarm here in high. Okay, so I can go just look at my high alarm here, and I can see that I've got a high alarm, and I could acknowledge it if I wanted to from here. Okay. So In-Touch Access Anywhere is what I just showed you. That's accessing your SCADA system from a web page. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is, well, is that secure? I don't want my SCADA system getting in the wrong hands. So Wonderware In-Touch Access Anywhere has what's called a secure gateway. Secure gateway is the web page that you access, but it's on the other side of a firewall from your SCADA control network. So when you access the web page to access your SCADA system, you're not actually accessing your SCADA network. So that's very important from a cybersecurity standpoint. You really want to isolate your SCADA network from the outside world. You don't want your SCADA network vulnerable to any attacks or malware, viruses, and you really you want to isolate your control network. It's you're only going to hear more and more about cybersecurity in the news. And in fact, we posted on our blog recently the number of SCADA attacks last year just rose dramatically. It's something that we should all be aware of and take the appropriate actions. So the In-Touch Access Anywhere secure gateway allows people to access the web page from the business network or the outside world. Once they log into the web page with their Windows credentials, it then launches the Wonderware session on the SCADA network within their browser. Okay, so you're not exposing your SCADA network to the outside world, only for the secure users that authenticate against your domain controller, your Windows security. And then we also have mobile reporting by SmartGlance. This is a Wonderware offering. This is an app that you can download for free to try right on your phone or your mobile device. And this lets you see your mobile data. So if you just want to look at your data over time and then a trend, and this is not control, so this is not in touch. You're not going to control your plant with SmartGlance, but it allows you to just quickly see your data from an app on your phone, so you can see on the go from your mobile device, wherever you are, your data. Am I running my plant in compliance, safely, reliably, efficiently? And you can configure your own alerts. So right from your phone, you can configure for this specific tag, when it goes above or below this threshold, send me an alert. And so you don't have to go to your SCADA server, you don't have to go to your programmer in order to configure alerts. You can configure your own alerts right on your device. It's very nice. Okay, so let's talk quickly about the Wonderware Historian, because this is a key component to any modern SCADA system nowadays. The Wonderware Historian is basically like the flight recorder for your plant. It provides the history of what happened in your control system, and then it gives easy access to anybody in your organization to that historical plant data, so they can work with your plant data to make sure that you're running your plant as efficiently as possible. So the Wonderware Historian helps you save time to consistently capture your real-time information automatically. Helps you visualize and analyze your plant performance and equipment performance with real-time and historical trends. It can be used for process and equipment optimization to quickly troubleshoot alarms and process upsets, provide regulatory reports as well as equipment runtime reports and energy and environmental reports. At the end of the day, we use our plant information to make decisions to lower costs and increase efficiency and reliability. So some customer testimonials, and these are personal customers that I've worked with who've given me this feedback. Both the City of Santa Rosa Laguna Treatment Plant and the Napa Sanitation District claim that they saved millions of dollars using the Wonderware Historian. And their justification for saving that much money was they were able to avoid new capital projects. For Santa Rosa, they were able to avoid going out and buying a new centrifuge, which they were going to have to build a structure to house it in. It's going to cost them millions of dollars. They were literally about ready to go into the RFP process when they learned with the Wonderware Historian that they could optimize their existing belt press to not have to go out and get a centrifuge to get their percent solids up and reduce the water content in their sludge. The Napa Sanitation District was able to avoid having to go out and get a new filter to meet their regulatory compliance. They were able to optimize their existing filters and processes, and prove to the state that they could meet regulatory compliance with their existing filters. Lake County Special District, they did a recent SCADA upgrade with actually Frisch Engineering, who Scott's going to talk about a little bit today. And they said before their SCADA upgrade, they would spend half a day reading chart recorders and calculating data for their reports. Now their reports are automatically generated, saving them time and money. And the Sea Ranch Water Company, they've actually put in writing for us as well a nice story of how they're able to use the Historian to find leaks they had in their water distribution system, leaks they didn't know they had, and they were able to quickly isolate where those leaks were to improve their overall efficiency, meaning they were able to capture that water, save that water that they were losing, and they were able to actually quickly and easily do that using the Historian. So those are some real-world examples, customers' testimonials about how the Wonderware Historian helps people save money, run more reliably and efficiently. So the Historian is the database that collects and stores your data. To actually pull the data out and use the data in a very user-friendly format is called the Historian Client, and that consists of trend an Excel add-in, and query. So if you have a historian client, you get access to all three of those things. Trend is a very powerful, very user-friendly historical and real-time trending tool. Allows you to pick any tag you want to view in your historian, pick any start time and end time, play it back as if it were live, or even look at real-time trends, look at any time duration you want. You can access these trends with or without your HMI. It does not require the in-touch HMI at all. It can work standalone. You can add electronic notes to these trends, so you've got electronic records of what happened if you want to add operator notes. You can save your favorite trends so that you can quickly open them up in the future and create your own folders to organize your data to quickly access it in the future. And you can even view the data in a table from the trend. So trends extremely powerful and extremely widely used in the water and wastewater industry. And so that's used almost more than the actual HMI itself, so operators can monitor in real time what's been happening over time and are we trending in the right direction and make sure that we're avoiding any process upsets or alarms. So Workbook is what we call our add-in to Excel. So if you have Excel on your computer and you install Historian Client, you can directly access your historical data right inside of Excel. Very easy to use, does not require a lot of training, very minimal, and anybody can do it. So if you need to access 15-minute data for your daily report, very easy to do. If you want to just look at all of the data, it's very easy to do. If you want to do totalized flows, mins, max, averages, uptime, downtimes, those are all built into the Wonderware Historian add-in to Excel. And you can save those reports and change the start time and end time as you open them, change the tags as you open them so that you can reuse your work. Historian Client Query is a data mining tool. If you don't have the Wonderware Historian, you just have a SQL Server database, that means that you have to write SQL queries, structured query language, in order to pull the data out. Well, you're not going to really use your historical data very much if it means you have to go write a custom SQL query every time you want to see your data. So Query gives you a point-and-click interface to, again, pick your tags, pick your start time and end time, how do you want to retrieve the data, and just show me my data. We expose the structured query language that's actually being written behind the scenes, and you can copy and paste that into any reporting tool you like, because Wonderware Historian uses Microsoft SQL Server as a front end. But if all you really care about is your data and not actually building up a SQL query, you can just focus on your data to focus on the task at hand and solve the problem or create the report that you need. And Dream Reports is an add-on reporting tool we have that really helps people automate reports, build reports in a very user-friendly environment, and that can be in PDF, in Excel, have reports automatically generated based on time. So if you need a report at the end of the day, at the end of the week, it can automatically generate, be saved any location, emailed to anybody, printed out, even published to an internal web page. And so this is a very popular solution for building reports, and we're happy to do an on-site lunch and learn for you if you're interested. We have the Enterprise Historian, which we talked about cybersecurity. You really want to isolate your SCADA network. Well, what happens for all the people that need access to that plant data and they're not SCADA operators? They don't really have any business being on the SCADA network, but they do need access to plant data. Well, with Enterprise Historian, you can replicate data from your Tier 1 historian to a Tier 2 historian through a firewall, isolating your SCADA network, but still giving access to anybody in your organization access to the plant historical data on this Tier 2 historian on the corporate network. So we call that Enterprise Historian. We call that Tier 1 replicating to Tier 2. And maybe you have multiple plants. You can replicate multiple Tier 1 historians to a centralized Tier 2 historian. So that we definitely have customers here in Northern California that do this. They've got multiple plants. They want a centralized system of record for all their plants. So they roll that all up to a centralized Tier 2 historian. Also useful if you've got a remote water metering site that you use for billing purposes. You can put a local historian on a very small embedded industrial computer out at the remote site, and it will do local store and forward, meaning it will collect the data locally at the water meter, and as your network allows, it will send that data to the Tier 2 historian that you use for your billing, so that you can guarantee that that data is going to get there. It's collected locally at the site, at the remote site, and regardless if the network is up up or down or intermittent, it will eventually get to the Tier 2 historian. We also have a cloud edition as well. So cloud isn't something that everybody's going to jump on right away, but we definitely have had customers who are now using this technology. And basically, that Tier 2 historian, you don't even have to go out and buy a server and commission that server and maintain it and make sure that data is backed up and make sure that it's available. You can just basically have Microsoft in their data center, it's called the Azure Cloud, host your Tier 2 historian, and they're responsible for making that data available, backed up, and secure. So over time, we're going to see more and more customers and industry migrating towards cloud services for reducing IT costs. And we also have redundancy capabilities with our historian. So as we begin to collect more and more information and rely on it for operations, for reporting, we want to make sure we don't have any gaps in data, because eventually servers need to be upgraded. They do go down from time to time, and we want to make sure that we don't lose any data. So we can provide both automatic store and forward to the historian. So that means if your historian goes down, when it comes back online, it gets automatically backfilled, so you don't have any gaps in your data. And then we also provide redundancy for the operator, so that if they're doing historian trends and their historian goes down, trend automatically fails over to the redundant historian. So we have both levels of redundancy here, redundancy on the data collection side and redundancy on the data retrieval side. And again, these are all built into the Wonderware products these days. It doesn't require any custom scripting or custom development. All right, I'd like to turn it over right now to Scott Penner, our guest speaker with Frisch Engineering. He's going to talk about some real-world examples of SCADA upgrades and best practices for building HMI and SCADA systems.
Great, thanks, Mike. Scott, I'm going to go ahead and pass the presenter role over to you. Perfect, we can see your screen.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Mike, and
thank you.
Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to thank Wonderware NorCal for all their hard work in putting this webinar together and all of the support that they have provided Frisch Engineering. It's been an awesome experience working with them. And myself, I've been working in the water wastewater industry for the past 24 years regarding control and system integration. And this is my 13th year here with Frisch Engineering as an associate engineer. I have over 10 years of experience in SCADA programming, and currently my primary duties here would include anything that has to do with SCADA programming and or systems integration. I specialize in all Wonderware products, and I really enjoy all the aspects of a SCADA system. Most satisfying part, I would say, my job would be just the opportunity to being creative, training operators on how to use a SCADA system, and just seeing a project through completion. Now, Frisch Engineering is a full-service consulting electrical engineering firm, and we can provide and do provide electrical design, power system analysis, arc flash, and device coordination studies, electrical construction services, and can provide design and build projects. We have a great staff of PLC programmers and SCADA programmers on board, and we are UL certified and can provide UL listed products such as enclosures and control panels. So today I'll focus on my experience of modernizing a SCADA system, which basically means overhauling or upgrading an existing SCADA system's hardware and Wonderware software, which could include, InTouch, historian client, which Mike talked about, Dream reports, and a system platform. And so today I'll be discussing, graphics, from the old to the new, control alarms and set points, your navigation, just moving around your SCADA system, and trending differences, and in using your historian client tools. So here's a SCADA system overview that we recently modernized for a city water system. And this SCADA system was originally designed and built around InTouch 7.1, running on Windows 2000 operating system. This SCADA system logged historical data to local LGH files, which basically allowed operators to view historical trends. All of the SCADA reports were done by hand with no automation. An operator would read the data from basically a SCADA log screen, from this button here. It would navigate to a log screen, and then they would input all of that information into an Excel spreadsheet, which clearly took a lot of time and on their part, just doing that procedure. So some of the issues that have come up during discussion with end users, or problem that I have seen, with SCADA systems include just, simple graphics. Integrators or developers would combine, like a 3D object or symbol with an ISA symbol, and it would be cluttered. As you can see on this screen, there's just a lot of text information, and it could just be confusing to an operator. Information, can be spread out between two screens or multiple screens. Graphics are not the same. If you have got a multiple of integrators working on your SCADA system and they don't use the same graphics, you could be a problem. Sometimes, you get symbols that look like cartoons that are not really realistic. Navigation is difficult, and some things that I've noticed, most recently is just internal scripting, doesn't function correctly. When you have an integrator that wants to do it, one way with scripting, and then someone else comes along, you modify your system just a little bit or upgrade, a portion of your plant, and the next integrator might not, know that this, internal scripting is going on, and it does something else, so it just and now nothing on the scripting works anymore. So, and here's again on this typical this water system, here's a typical well site, and as you can see, there's not much information on the screen, just the current values. You see, maybe you also got alarm, acknowledge, reset, and then your trending up here, where you've got your real-time and historical trends. So with the new system, what we did was, we upgraded all of the computer hardware with the latest InTouch 2014 software running on Windows 7. And this is the new system overview with basically all of the same information on this screen as was on the old screen. In addition to this system, we added an historian and historical data collector, and the the historian trend tools for trending the data points and basically automating the reporting system. You can also notice that it's just a well-organized screen. It's not cluttered with a lot of text. The graphics makes it easier to know what that device is out in the field versus when you come back into your SCADA system, you're like, oh, okay, I recognize that. Also added a alarm notification banner down here so they can identify what their last 3 alarms were, and again, easy navigation, which I'll go into a little bit more later on. Navigating, so we go to the next process level. You can see the new typical well site showing more detail of the process. I would also like to note that all of the screens in this system were generated with using Wonderware's vector style, ArchestrA graphics. Just working in the symbol editor to create these graphics, it's so much easier, just to add the gradient color with the multiple layering to shade a symbol, and to make it lifelike. It's pretty easy and something that every SCADA system should have. As Mike mentioned, some of these graphics you can actually pull from the water and wastewater industrial pack that you can get from Wonderware. And also on this, what I added were the controls, with this graphic alone. You didn't see them, the graphics before this was very simple. So I added the basically, a little bit more information with the device alarms, the instrument alarms with this, and then all of your control functions that you can easily, control your pump with. And here's a side-by-side comparison of basically the two well pump graphics. And again, this is where the creative opportunities using the ArchestrA graphics comes into play. And just an amazing tool. Okay, so for the controls, system controls, here's a typical pop-up window where you can make control adjustments. One thing that I noted, you can note on this is you've got the instrument values, or your current values of your system pressure is shown down here. It's kind of hidden back here, but the current values versus the changeable set points, everything looks the same. It's identical. It could be confusing to the operator on, okay, which one do I need to change in that? So what we did was, clearly you can see that the instrument values down here, with the black with green text, is different than your changeable set points, which is your cyan color. So anything cyan with a white text is changeable. And of course you've got your enable and disables as well. So, and as I mentioned before, going from your device alarms and to your instrument alarms, you always have the control features down here. So you can just get quick control of your pump. That's mostly changed from a day-to-day basis when your device alarms or your instrument alarms. Once you set those, you typically don't mess with those unless you're maybe trying to troubleshoot a problem or something like that. So again, this is another Wonderware InTouch 7.11 system showing aeration basins that the screen resolution was 800 by 600 and originally developed on a 15-inch display. And this is a great example of how important it is for just your text font and size can be. As you can see here, it's very hard to read, and this was blown up just a little bit, but you can still see, even with this blown up, it's just hard to read the graphics. And again, another pop-up control window with just text, and you've got a different color for your set points that are changeable, but again, just really hard for an operator or a user to use this system and change a set point and or information. And so I, again, upgraded the Wonderware software to the latest version. The end user wanted to maintain all of our other screens, so we had to keep the header and navigation area similar so that all the other screens could be used. And due to the size and resolution of the screen, I created some buttons down here that could go to their all of their controls. This is a control screen where I split it up into 3 different screens. The device alarms, which a little bit easier to read, and you can definitely tell that what you're changing for your delay set points and your enable disables, and then your instrument alarms. Same way, you've got your current value shown over here in black, and everything else easy, changeable, and very I'm going to say helpful to the operator when he wants to find something and adjust it. And then of course your totals and total resets. So next, 2 different types of trends that are usually shown, your real-time trends and your historical trends. And with both those, we integrated, as Mike talked about earlier, the historian client tools, and this is the trend feature that's embedded into InTouch. And this is just an awesome tool. If you've never used it, you should definitely get your hands on it and just play around with it. It's just, there's a lot of information. I do show toolbar and tag pickers up here, which just add a little bit more features on, or you can, in this display, they're actually hidden. But this trend tool, gives you both real-time and historical trends, and just, enables the user to quickly troubleshoot issues and a lot of, identify cost-saving opportunities as well. So utilizing the Wonderware's historian and the historian client tools, allows users to easily create process data points and reports, with Microsoft Excel, just like Mike explained a little bit earlier. And these 2 reports are populated automatically each month for the city of Montague and their water treatment plant. And we have seen and we received positive reviews not only from the operators, but also from the State Water Resource Control Board, which they have noted that they're very easy to use. All the information there, just seamlessly reports that work for them and saves a lot of time for not having to enter this data in each day. Going back, looking at the navigation, I like to basically hide a navigation tool, which the screen menu just hides when not in use, and then when you want to navigate to a different screen, pops up with whatever your screens are in your system, and then you've got your typical screens that your alarm summary and your history, your overview, and with this type of system, it just allows the user or an operator to be only 2 mouse clicks away from performing his next task, which is just we've seen got a lot of praise from this type of system, and it makes it easier for the operators. And then it doesn't hide or take away any of the graphics that you want to display in your main graphics area. So in the end, how do you successfully modernize your SCADA system? Well, one of the key steps everyone should be thinking about is just SCADA programming standards. It should be a written document that you can use in your system today. You can create it for your current system or your future implementations if you were going to expand or even upgrade. And this could include your graphics, and you would make note of the system, maybe your facility's overview, your process unit levels that you're going to have in the system, or that you do have, and identify the equipment, manual or automatic control in there, and then possibly your control set points, your screen layout, is your header, footer areas, what size are they going to be, what they're going to look like, your main process area, your graphic symbols, going from your process lines, equipment, your text. We noticed in one of those systems that we upgraded, just the font size, the font and size, the font style and size were really off. Your color, you can describe your color, and your tag name database also. Is it going to be standard or similar to the ISA S5.1 standard? Your alarms, identify how you want your alarm system developed and maintained. We talk about trends, security, historical data collection. How are you going to store your data, your backups, and your reports? What are your reports going to look like? Are they going to be automated? And these standards should be a written live document that is updated frequently as your SCADA system changes and grows. And I believe this would be a great start just to modernizing your SCADA system. Kelly?
Great, thanks, Scott. Mike, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to you.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks a lot, Scott. That was really helpful. Okay, so Scott mentioned a little bit about alarm management as part of being best practices when building SCADA systems. So let's talk just a little bit about alarm management and best practices and new features. So why is alarm management important? Well, it's an important operational tool to deal with only important conditions and reduce the risk of incidents and improve the effectiveness of operations. Just focus on your real-time issues. So very common issues that we see in the alarming world at any given SCADA system or water wastewater plant, that we'll walk into a control room, we'll see a bunch of red alarms flashing on a screen, and the operator isn't really doing anything or reacting because that's just normal. It's normal to have lots of alarms, and they don't really pay attention to them. And really, that's a result of not building an effective alarm management system. And so if you're not paying attention to alarms, then you can miss the critical ones, and that's a problem, right? We're trying to run in regulatory compliance, avoid being fined, produce safe water, and run our plant reliably and efficiently. So we really need to manage our alarms effectively. Wonderware has a new product called Wonderware Alarm Advisor, and that's an alarm dashboard that anybody can go to see what alarms are occurring most frequently, what are the priority of those alarms, so that you can really start to clean up your alarm database and your alarm set points so that you really are only getting the alarms that operators need to view and possibly take action on. So the Alarm Advisor dashboard works against the Wonderware alarm database, and it lets you just really drill in and focus and clean up your alarming system. And if we look at best practices guidelines for alarm management, really you can categorize your alarms into 4 priorities: critical, safety and emergency related, high, medium, and low. And so the events could be another type of alarm priority, and events don't need operator visibility or operator action. The event just might be that an operator logged in or changed a set point, and you want to log that event. But nobody needs to be aware of that in real time. So you can rank these 4 alarm priorities, critical, high, medium, and low, by safety risk, by economic loss, or by environmental risk. So once you categorize your alarms, you can apply them to the Wonderware SCADA system. So this is built-in functionality, and you can specify, well, what are my critical, high, medium, and low alarms, and we can automatically store those. And we can associate colors with those severities, those priorities, so that we can have our alarm borders automatically change the color of the priority of that alarm, making it very intuitive for the operator and easy for the SCADA developer. So we have that alarm border animation I showed you earlier in the InTouch Access Anywhere demo, where around a graphic, if you configure an alarm border, it will automatically show the alarm severity or priority that current area of your plant or instrument or set point is in. We have pre-built alarm dashboards. So again, you can sort your alarms by the area of the plant, by all alarms, by critical, high, medium, or low alarms. We also have what's called state-based suppression. So if you're a given area of your plant, if it's in maintenance, if it's in startup, if it's in testing, you can silence or disable those alarms. So again, you're not getting those alarm floods that really can make your operator miss the important alarms that they do need to be paying attention to. So the ability to turn off alarms by area of the plant is a very useful alarm management tool. Alarm shelving is another useful tool that allows you to basically put alarms on snooze. So again, if you're going to be putting a plant in maintenance mode or testing, you can actually do a snooze or a shelve an alarm, and that means after a given period of time, the alarm is going to automatically become active again. So for that period while it's shelved or snoozed, you're not going to see that alarm, but you don't have to remember to go back and turn that alarm back on. You can say, I want this alarm to, to snooze it for 8 hours, and by then we should be done testing or implementing, commissioning a new control panel, whatever it may be, and then that alarm automatically becomes active again, and you add a reason why you're putting that alarm in snooze. So you have documentation of that this alarm was shelved, who it was shelved by, and what the reason was. Okay, lastly, let's just talk about integrating SCADA System with computerized maintenance management and GIS. So we work with a partner company called eRPortal, and they provide a complete asset management and computerized maintenance management system. Here's an example screenshot of a user configurable homepage. So based on who logs into the CMMS system, what screens are they going to see? So in this case, they can see my open work orders and assets being maintained, the assets down, overdue work orders, and so on. Maybe I'm a supervisor in this case. And we can also provide a bidirectional interface within the SCADA system to your maintenance system. So right from my SCADA screen, sorry about that, jumping around, I can click on an asset and I can pop open my maintenance work order screen. I can see the maintenance work order history on an asset. I can see upcoming maintenance work orders that are scheduled. I can also request new work orders directly from my SCADA system. So I don't have to go separately into another system in order to interact with my maintenance system. Saves a lot of time and provides that communication between departments. We can drive maintenance work orders based on real-time conditions coming from SCADA. So if I want to set a set point to say if I go above a temperature, a vibration, a level, a pH for a certain period of time or a certain duration, if I go into a high alarm state or a high alarm state, go ahead and generate a maintenance work order request. So that immediately gets people's a document out into the field that people can go in, take a look, and see what's going on. And finally, we also have integration with GIS systems. So right from your GIS system, I could click on an asset. I could see the asset code, which is in my maintenance system or my asset management system, the location. I can see open work orders, overdue work orders, work order history, and create new work orders directly from my GIS system. And then finally, we also have a Apple iPad app that allows you to take your work orders into the field even in a disconnected state. If I'm not connected to a network, I can complete work orders, I can enter in my comments and my information, I can bring that iPad back into the plant, into my Wi-Fi network, and then I can update my CMMS database. So it's very nice for, we're on the go, we're on the move. We don't want to print out paper any longer because there's all kinds of problems associated with paper-based systems. So now we've got a completely electronic-based maintenance system that's integrated with SCADA and GIS. All right, so in summary, modernizing your SCADA system, you can save money by upgrading your existing Wonderware SCADA system. It does not require a rebuild. Again, you get a 65% discount off of new licenses by upgrading your Wonderware system. We even provide competitive trading credits. So if you've got an old obsolete SCADA system or third-party SCADA system, but it's time for a SCADA upgrade, we can actually offer you a competitive trade-in discount. So take advantage of the newest capabilities with Wonderware to run your plant reliably, efficiently, and safely and securely. So use the historian to quickly diagnose and troubleshoot issues, get the most out of your existing assets, and you save time by automating plant reports, no programming needed, and use the situational awareness graphics and the alarm management tools from Wonderware to help you run in compliance. And pay attention to cybersecurity and best practices. Stay current with Microsoft operating systems and isolate your SCADA network. If you're going to provide remote access to your SCADA system, think it through and make sure you're using a good plan, and consider in-touch access anywhere on the secure gateway. And work with partners who have your best interest in mind. Make sure that you're working with partners who have lots of experience and understand your goals and requirements, and specify those requirements in the RFP process. And finally, Wonderware NorCal is your local, proven support provider with the easiest to use products in the marketplace and the best supported. And we work with a large system integrator community here in Northern California, including Frisch Engineering. Okay, so you can register for upcoming events at our website, norcal.wonderware.com. We've got 3 different system platform workshops next week. System platform is our latest modern SCADA framework that adds a lot of capabilities for SCADA systems. And Wednesday and Thursday are full. We have a few seats available for Friday. And then the following week, we have our InTouch and ArchestrA Graphics workshop on Wednesday, May 13th. And we've got a full-time training schedule as well. If you go to our website, you can register for training classes and workshops. And then we can do workshops on-site at your location. Do we have any questions, Kelly?
Hi, Mike. Yes, we do have a few that have come in. The first one is, what is the best time to upgrade a SCADA system? Do you want to take this one, or Scott? It's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah. Usually, I would say when you're upgrading your hardware is when you want to upgrade your software. You know, maybe budget every 5 years, I would say, and to fully get an upgrade of just everything, and just have your SCADA system running that's really well. Wouldn't you say, Mike? Or do you have any input?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty good advice there. What you don't want to do is wait until you have an issue, because we see that all too commonly is that people wait too long, and then they end up having computer failures, hardware failures, hard drive failures, and then they end up in down situations where they're really in a fire drill. They haven't budgeted, they haven't thought about what it takes to actually upgrade a system, how they want to improve their SCADA system, not just get a new computer and run the existing system, but what kind of changes you want to make. So really be proactive. And it's pretty interesting. We had an IT department that just upgraded all their computers, and we asked them, well, when do you start thinking about or planning your next upgrade? And I said, well, we're doing it right now. So they were already planning their next upgrade before the current upgrade was even completed. So it's all about being proactive to make sure your systems stay up and running reliably, as well as you're getting the most out of them to make sure they're easy to use for your operator, and you're getting the most out of your existing assets.
Okay, great. I do have one more question. Does the Wonderware Industry Pack for water and wastewater cost extra?
Nope, that's a free download. Yep.
Okay. And then we are a very small water district. We are less than 100 tags. Do you have a SCADA package that can accommodate a system this size?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Wonderware is extremely scalable. I mean, our smallest license is 64 tags. A tag is just a level of pressure, a flow, a motor. But we have a lot of small water districts. I mean, we have probably more small water districts than we have large water districts because there's more of them. But yeah, we can accommodate any size water district or SCADA project and find the appropriately sized system for your budget and your size system. So,
okay.
Yep.
Okay, great. So that does wrap up our questions, and that does wrap up our webinar as well. So thank you, Mike, and thank you, Scott. And if anyone would like to review any portion of this webinar or share it with colleagues, this recording will be available on our website, norcal.wonderware.com, later this afternoon. And again, you can find more information on our website. If you do have questions after this webinar, feel free to email us at webinar@norcal.wonderware.com. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.